Hi, very nice to meet you, Maria, from the upcoming. So we would like to know a bit more about Paddington 2 and if there's going to be another film.
Well, I mean, I think everyone involved would love to do one. He's such a lovely character, and there's a ton of material to work from that Michael Bond wrote. He was writing Paddington stories for nearly 60 years, so we'd love to do one, but they're prohibitively expensive things to mount, so we need to see how it does around the world first.
How was working with Hugh Grant and the rest of the cast in this movie? It was a bit different from the previous one, so how was the experience this time?
I mean, it's just incredible. We got just such a ridiculously phenomenal cast, and I think the lovely thing about Paddington is it opens doors for people. The character does. Like, lots of people knew him from their childhood, loved him from their childhood, and I like to flatter myself that all of these amazing actors are desperate to work with me, but the truth is they just want to work with the bear, so I feel very lucky.
Are you excited about the awards tonight?
I am. Yes, I'm not expecting any to be going home laden with metalwork, but yeah, I mean, it should be a fun evening, and there's lots of amazing films nominated, so I hope to meet some nice people.
Do you have something else coming up, maybe for this year or next year?
I mean, at the moment, I'm just writing and looking for some things, so I think it'll take more than a year to get going. Yeah, I think. I mean, there's not a great track record of amazing sequels out there, and I think. We watched a lot. Simon and I watched all of the sequels that we could lay our hands on, and sort of tried to avoid some of the pitfalls, which seem to be kind of effectively pressing reset on all the characters and trying to tell the same story again. And the ones that really worked for us, the sort of Toy Story 2s and the Godfather 2s, it sounds like ridiculous comparisons, but you sort of go, well, what do they do with this character that makes me want to watch Godfather 2? And you go, well, you delve deeper into his character and you try to find the next chapter of the journey. And likewise with Toy Story 2, which I think is the paragon of children's sequels, is you go, it doesn't just feel like Toy Story 1, like Woody and Buzz aren't going to fall out again and have difficulties. They're going to come to terms with a different issue. So really we started looking at where Paddington would go. This is a very long answer, but and so we sort of started thinking about him as a kind of, in the first film he found a home and a family, but he really didn't know the wider street, he didn't know the wider community of London, and just because he sort of chanced on one nice family didn't sort of mean the rest of the world was going to embrace him. So then we started thinking about him going to the community, and that took us to thinking about Frank Capra films, and then we suddenly began to feel like we had the backbone of a movie that could kind of be a film within its own right that you don't need to watch the first one for. I suppose you've no idea how people are going to react. We just sort of did our best, really, and hope for the best. And yeah, I suppose the first one, in a way, you kind of wondered whether the expectations were quite low because there's not a kind of grand history of rebooted children's characters from your childhood. Like the reaction's quite often not so positive because you feel something's been spoilt or lost in translation, and so we were sort of expecting the worst, and then things were really nice, and so this time we worried there might be a kind of, actually I've had a second thought and that it was rubbish after all. So it's very nice that people seem to have embraced it. Yeah, it's incredibly lovely. We would love to do one as a group. How that happens is hard to say because they're sort of quite hard to come up with the stories, and there's tons of raw material in the Michael Bond books, but they're not. They tend to be quite short stories. They're not sort of overarching narratives, and so trying to find something like that we feel is worth making is going to be a challenge. But certainly we're going to have conversations about seeing if we can find something. Yeah.